Hi class, in this video, I'm going to talk about sales and operations planning. Remember, in the last video, we stopped in this slide. Now we're going to talk about specifically about sales and operations planning. So we are moving on our slides, and I'm going to talk about specifically about it, okay? So sales and operations planning is a process that helps firms provide better customer service, lower inventory, shorten customer lead times, stabilize production rates, and give top management a handle on the business. So it's really kind of looking at month to month, up to 2 years of how much we're planning to sell, and as consequence, how much to produce. The process consists of a series of meetings between people from different functional areas, salespeople, finance people, operations people, human resources. Everyone participates because that tells this plan is telling the company what's going to happen in the next months and maybe years. Okay, so it has to involve and involves everyone in the company. This must occur at that aggregate level and also at the detailed individual product level. Remember, I told you in the last video that we're talking about family of products first: iPads, iPhones, laptops, desktops, big families of products. And then after that, break down into the specific products that the company sells and produces, okay? All right, what else we have here is what are the sum of the activities we have? Sales and operations plan was coined by companies. Companies came up with this term to refer to this aggregate planning that I was talking about. This terminology was developed to capture the importance of cross-functional work, specifically from sales and marketing people and production operations people. But it's more than that. As I was telling you, it has involves finance, involves accounting, involves human resources, involves information technology. Everyone is involved because it has consequence for everything that the company does. Okay, aggregation on the supply side is done by product families. This is the terminology we have in terms of the family of products. And on demand side is done by groups of customers. So if we look at the supply side, we're looking at the family of products. Again, iPad, iPhone, blah, blah, blah. And if we're looking at the customer, we're talking about retailers, we're talking about end consumers, we're talking about heavy users, we're talking about different groups of customers. That's what this is saying. What types of planning we have? We have long-range planning, in which planning is focused on horizon greater than 1 year. That's what I talked also before. Intermediate range planning, which it goes from 3 months to 18 months, and short range planning, which goes from 1 day to up to 6 months. Remember, we also saw this horizon perspective in the class of demand forecasting. Long term, more than 2 years, more than 18 months, up to many decades. Intermediate range plan can go from 6 months to up to 2 years. In this case, from like 6 months to 18 months, and short range planning up to kind of 6 months, from days, weeks, up to 6 months. Aggregate operations plan specifies the optimal combination of production rate, units completed per unit of time. What's our production rate? What's the workforce level, number of workers needed in a given period, and inventory on hand, how much parts we have, how many baby working products, working process products, and semi-finished products and finished products. So the aggregate operations plan try to find this optimal combination. What is the best combination? That's what this is saying. What is the best combination of amount to produce per day, given the amount of people we have and the inventory we have at hand? What is the best combination? And again, is done on the product group, is in aggregate level first, and then disaggregate as one of the results of this plan is disaggregating that to the specific products. Okay. Again, this sales and operations plan goes up from maybe 3 months, 6 months until 18 months, 1 year and a half approximately. Some inputs of the production, this production, sales and production operations plan are those, for example, internal to the firm, that the firm has information is the current physical capacity, how many machines, how many people, what is our capacity right now, which is I was talking about current workforce, how many people we have, what's our inventory levels, how many parts we have in inventory right now. Remember the coronavirus pandemic crisis? We are like having shortage of many products, inventory levels going down. For example, car manufacturers, they don't have microchips to produce the cars. That's inventory levels going down. Activities required for production, so what we need to produce, which type of personnel, and all that stuff. And outside the firm, that's external to the firm, is all those variables. For example, what's the economic conditions? Remember, I told you right now Fed is increasing interest rate, maybe a recession is coming. What's the market demand? Market demand is still high, but maybe it's going to slow down. How is the market demand right now? What is the raw material availability? I just mentioned the microchip crisis. Most of microchips we use in the US come from Asia, comes from China, comes from all these Asian countries. Right now, the availability is very low. So how to plan for that? Customer behavior, competitors' behavior. How are competitors doing? Are they like being aggressive? Are they changing their models? Are they introducing new products? And also external capacity, such as can we subcontract? Remember, we have a lack of many things, lack of products, maybe even lack of suppliers, subcontractors to help the production. So these are some of the inputs. There are even more inputs for this production planning system. What's production planning strategies the company can follow? So there are some production planning strategies that the company can do. The production planning strategies are related to if the demand changes, what we are going to do. So one strategy is the chase strategy. If the demand goes up, we increase production, we increase capacity. If the production goes down, we decrease capacity. That's chase strategy. Match the production rate by hiring and laying off people. Okay, so you increase, you hire more people. The demand decreases, I lay off people. In this case, you must have a pool of easily trained applicants to put them to work very quickly. Stable workforce using variable work hours. In this case, I'm going to use always the same amount of people, and if I have to increase, then probably I'm going to work overtime. Okay, that's what it's saying here. Vary the number of hours worked through flexible work schedules or overtime. So I always have the same amount of people, but if I have a peak in demand, I'm going to pay overtime, or I'm going to allow flexible schedules. Level strategy. In this case, I have always the same amount of production. I'm always producing the same amount regardless of what happens with the demand. Demand goes up, I keep producing the same amount. Demand goes down, I keep producing the same amount. In this case, demand change, these changes are absorbed by fluctuating inventory. So when it goes down, when demand goes down, I keep producing, so I build the inventory. Then when I have a peak in demand, I keep producing the same amount and I'm starting consuming my inventory. That's what this is saying, is absorbed by fluctuating inventory levels. Order backlogs. What's order backlogs? If I'm producing and I don't have inventory, I have a peak in demand, I'm going to sell and tell my customer, I don't have right now, but I have you in a backlog. So when you are in the, I don't know, you are like this 100 customer on my list. When I get to the point, I'm going to deliver it to you. That's what I have. That's the order backlog. Some customers accept, that's good. Some customers don't accept, then it turns into lost sales, okay? That's what level strategy is. peaks in demand. If I have inventory, fine. If I don't, order backlog. See if customers accept, good. If they don't, I lose customers. If the demand goes down, I build inventory. And finally, subcontracting. I hire and lay off. Hiring and laying off are translated into subcontracting. So if I have peaks in demand, I subcontract to other companies. Okay, that's how the production planning strategies are. And I believe that's the last one, aggregating planning techniques. There are different techniques to find what this aggregate planning is, how much it is. One is cut and try approach, like you basically do it and see what happens. Involves costing out various production planning alternatives and selecting one that's best. Elaborate spreadsheets are developed to facilitate the decision process. We have linear programming. Linear programming is mathematical analysis that is used through computers and algorithms and then the company enters all information into the software, and then the software runs the analysis and tells the managers what the company should do, what is the best alternative, what is the best options for the company in terms of which products to produce, when to produce them, and everything. That's what linear programming does. So in the first one has more subjectivity. The managers kind of use their intuition along or together with elaborated spreadsheets, information, data. But in linear programming, they just enter all the data, and then this software helps to tell what's the best, what is the optimal production plan. Again, when and which products to produce. Finally, we have simulation, and simulation is more a what-if analysis. We have a scenario, and then you change one variable and see what happens. Then you change another variable and see what happens. That's what simulation does. And again, if I produce more beds, queen beds this time, what happens with my production? Well, I don't have enough people. I have to buy more material. Okay, let's change another thing. Let's say if I increase the amount of chairs I'm producing, what happens with everything else? That's what simulation is. So there's the different techniques to plan, to help plan and see what's going to happen in all companies' variables. Okay. So I'm going to stop this video here. Now, what I want you to do is start watching the videos about the techniques. Okay, so let me see here if I can show you. So we are in the class production planning. What I want you to do is product planning table. Now you're going to start watching these videos, okay? All next slides we have, this is the planning table, okay? You're going to download the Excel spreadsheet, and you're going to watch the video and follow. Here's the guidelines. Download the following file, watch the following video, and so on. Okay, thanks.